7. One more than 8, one less than 7 with Hudson and
Hello?
Ultra. Hello.
Hello.
All right. So let's get right into it. First topic is
Oh, cool. We're just jumping
yeah, we're
in.
just jumping into it. We just jump straight into it. Like
Cool.
it's
Wait, let me get
amazing.
let me get a retweet on the tweet.
Okay,
Where is
okay.
it?
Yeah, me too, sir.
They are both so
wow,
handsome.
you didn't even tag us in it? What are you, fake or something?
He
Yeah,
made a
bro, it's
new
cool,
tweet.
man. It's
Oh
cool.
my god.
Hello, mate.
Oh my lord. Wait, he said they are both so handsome. There's 3 of us here, sir.
There's 3 of us. Wait, hold on.
That's funny.
So we're gonna start with Waddle's thing. So what's
Oh,
your
okay, cool.
favorite burger place? So
All right, you go first.
all right. So recently, like, there's a place where I live, like Killen's Burgers. Like it's in our area, so I have to drive there quite a bit of a distance, and that's really
Okay.
good. But it's like that's all they have is just burgers. So like when I go to a burger place, yeah, I want a burger, but I also want like, you know,
The full
yeah, the full
experience.
experience. So I need like
Yep.
good shake, good drinks, good sides. And I went to Shake Shack for the first time ever in California. And that,
Okay,
like,
here we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
That like shifted everything. That my entire hierarchy of like joints that I go to got like destroyed because of Shake
Let's
Shack.
go. Let's go. That's what we
Yep.
fucking like
Shake
to
Shack
hear.
up top.
Yes.
Mhm.
Shake Shack up top. While Mako's in
Yeah.
chat, we're gonna make sure that everybody knows Shake Shack #1. In and out
Dude.
trash. Five Guys mid.
Bro, In and Out hurt
Shake
me.
Shack. That's the only way to go.
Shake Shack is by far the best. And you know what's amazing is the last time I was at Shake Shack, I met Sean White. So
Jeez.
Oh
and
yeah, I
the
forgot
Mob
about
Boys
that.
surprised
Mhm.
me, and I was in California, so that was a pretty good experience. Hey Mako.
But
That's
yeah,
sick.
when I went to California, I was like, okay, I gotta try Shake Shack, In and Out. In and Out was the biggest disappointment I've had in like probably my entire life.
Yeah.
Probably like food wise, my entire life. So, but
You know
Shake
what they
Shack
have though
is the
that's good
best
is
thing.
that pink lemonade.
Pink
Wait, so are
lemonade.
we all saying that the favorite burger is Shake Shack for all of us?
I think so.
Okay, so that was easy.
Glad we're in
Easy.
agreement. I'm glad we're all in agreement.
Hudson, wink at the camera. Is that good? Can we grab a dab for Jesus? I'm good on that one.
All right.
I'm not doing it.
So
Yeah.
we'll sort of segue since we're talking about food. What's your favorite type of food? So like go-to thing, like perfect day. What
Well,
are you eating
I'm
for
gonna
dinner?
be I'm gonna be really boring about this because no bullshit, but it's always been burgers for me. Like I am a burger connoisseur. I love like what's funny is so like Shake Shack. If I need a good burger anywhere, I would try and find a Shake Shack. But if I'm looking for like an insanely like yummy burger, I'm going to like Zen Burger or I'm going to like Aioli Burger, one of the gourmet places around town.
Okay.
And those, I mean, like I can get like ridiculous shit at those places, and that's like an indulgement. But usually, like my go-to, if I'm out like having a beer or just hanging out, it's like an American bar grill. I'm having a burger. It's just I love them. Usually, though, I like sweet potato fries if I can get it. Otherwise, I'll have the regular fries. But yeah, I really love American food.
Burgers.
I'm a simpler man, or just a simple pizza probably. But if I could go anywhere special, I know a lot of people, like a lot of my friends that I hang out with in college, they're not really into it. But I love Korean barbecue. Korean
Oh,
barbecue,
okay.
hot pot, slaps.
Mhm.
It's so good.
that sounds yummy.
Damn.
That sounds good.
I'm gonna go a completely different route. I love snow crab. Like I absolutely love
What's
snow
that?
crab. Um,
Oh, just like okay,
yeah,
never mind, just crab.
yeah,
Yeah.
just crab. But I also love king crab. Just like crab in general. But
Isn't snow crab what they make California rolls out of?
uh, actually, yeah, there's like snow crab. I think so.
I've
There's something
never
else.
been a seafood person, so I can't relate, but I know that people love that stuff. I just for some reason, if I enjoyed eating it, I would, but I can't get past it. Like I've tried various sushi and seafood and I just cannot do it. So I
Can't
don't know
do
what
it.
my problem is. But like I've given it
Oh.
a fair shot
Mhm.
and I don't know, my body
It's
doesn't
like
like
it's
it.
like the cracking because you have to work for it. It's like you don't just get the meat. It's like you gotta work. You gotta like crack.
Yeah, like a lobster. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
you gotta
lobster a little
crack
bit more than
everything.
crab, but
Freaks me
it's
out.
very similar.
I don't know what my problem is.
It's
I
like
got a problem.
It's like
No, it's like
cracking
you
it
like it or you
open.
don't, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
like
it genuinely like if you're eating it next to me, I'm gonna scooch over because like that's fucking. I'm
so
not
is it
doing
like
Yeah.
is it the fact that they have to like break it open and everything or just
It's the smell of it and the texture of
okay.
it don't gel with
Mhm.
for some reason, like any like squishy,
Right.
like rubbery, I'm not about. And
Mhm.
some people are like it melts in your mouth like a steak. It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's
I
It's
just
not.
not.
can't. No.
Right.
Like objectively it's not the same. I prefer the steak as well, but steaks are up there too. They're just expensive. You can't indulge in them,
I
like
love
as much as you
steaks.
can indulge on like other things. Yeah, I love steaks.
Oh my god,
Oh,
like dude,
funny story actually.
yeah.
I never had beef until I was 18 years old. Not
Whoa.
Beef
not a
with who?
burger, like beef, like
Okay.
Nothing.
oh, this guy, I got a lot of yeah, I've never not a burger, not a
Mhm.
steak, no piece of beef or red meat until I was 18 years old.
Okay.
Because of
Interesting.
my parents' religion, I
Oh,
followed that, and then once I turned 18, I'm like, I'm not that religious, so I don't care.
that's interesting.
Curdy says now you got beef on the timeline every second
What's
of the
up,
day.
Curdy?
What's up, Curdy?
True.
That's
Uh,
funny.
so is it like, damn, I've been missing out whenever you first tried it, or
Yeah, it was always curiosity. I don't know. I honestly like the first time I had it, I didn't even mean to like get it. It was actually with Classy. We were like
Mhm.
Oh my god,
hanging
so it's
out.
recent.
Yeah, it was like I mean I'm 19 now, so it was like
Yeah.
last year.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Wow.
it was trying to think. We got Wendy's and that was the first time ever.
That's crazy. Wait, so you started off with Wendy's? That's so
Yeah, I know.
sad. I feel
It
bad
was an
for you.
accident. I didn't even mean to get it.
What do you mean you didn't mean to? You went your whole life without having it, and then you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, I can't even
Mhm.
think about it. Hi, person in the background.
Hey,
Hello.
Ultra's roommate. Since we're talking about
So,
Ultra,
oh, okay,
oh
let's do
great,
it.
yeah, what you got, Hudson?
No, I was gonna spew more bullshit. So continue.
Okay, so Ben just asked, have you asked my question, Ultra? And it's a pretty basic question. What is your favorite Travis Scott song in verse?
Hmm. Got some thought on that.
I can't even name a single Travis Scott song. So I
Same,
don't.
same
In
here.
terms of recent, I actually really like that his bless 'em verse. Bless 'em, bless them, abbreviated to bless 'em verse. But all time, drugs you should try it, even though you shouldn't actually try them. That's just the name of the song.
Mhm.
Um, can't say best song off Astroworld. Still love that. I don't know if I have a favorite though. Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Hmm.
Still, he's still like top 3 for me. He's one of my favorites.
That's
Okay.
you know what's crazy is like new age rap. And this is no shade because everyone's got their taste, but I have not been able to get into it. Like there's
Yeah,
just
of course.
so much of it sounds so similar to me, and like I just yeah, I don't know. But I know how
Yeah.
much people love it,
Mhm.
and so I'm not talking shit on it. I just same as seafood thing. It's not my thing.
For me, it's
Gotcha.
more the energy of it. Like
Where I have
you're at.
strong opinions is cars, so we'll get into that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure we will get into
we're
that.
about to get into that.
Yeah.
So, favorite car. So let's start with
Okay.
Hudson. Favorite car.
So it's actually amazing. I saw it for the first time, like in the flesh,
Mhm.
which is it's a McLaren F1. No specific version of it, but um, the reason it's my favorite is because growing up, I'm sure like a lot of people my age, we played Need for Speed, and I
Mhm.
had a GameCube. I wasn't like a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. My first console that I got was a GameCube, and I had Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. And like the best car you could get in that game was a McLaren F1. And like I also grew up watching movies like The Italian Job, um and so I loved cars a lot, but when I saw the McLaren F1 in that game, like I knew one day I would have to see it. And like at the Scholastic Book Fairs, I would get like any like Guinness Book World Records, anything that was related to cars. The McLaren F1 up until the Bugatti Veyron like held the record for the fastest car, and it was made in the 90s. Like fucking coolest
Wow.
thing ever. And it's McLaren's first car they ever made, but they didn't make it by themselves. They made it in combination with BMW. They made the engine for it, the
Mhm.
powertrain. But anyways, so really cool. And the last like 10 years, the value of them has fucking exploded. Like they were $800,000 car new in the 90s, which is a lot of money.
Mhm.
And today they're anywhere from 15 to 20 some $million.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're
So
crazy.
it's really incredible. Yeah, and so I saw not only did I see one though in Monterey, I saw three. So yeah, I saw
It's
two. No,
crazy.
actually, lied. I saw one in the trailer, but it didn't see the whole thing. So I saw four of them. But I saw two F1 road cars with a high downforce kit, and one of them had a LM engine, which is the racing engine variant,
Mhm.
the Le Mans racing in Le Mans, which is the Ford versus Ferrari movies about Le Mans. It's a very famous race and track. So, anyways, one of them had the LM engine. It sold for 18.9 million at auction while I was there. So that was cool. And
That's
then I
wild.
saw a F1 GTR Longtail Edition, which was the yellow one. And that's like a race car. But the cool thing about that is it was converted to be road legal. And so that's one of the most rare, most expensive F1s that exists. Anyways, long-winded answer. The McLaren F1's my favorite. I'll take any of the variants, but that's like one
Any
of
of the
those
15 to
things
20
that,
million dollar variants.
yeah, like for me, like I have like goals and aspirations, and a lot of them have to do with cars, because I think having a material goal is a good thing. It's not all that, but it is good to have those kinds of things. And that is like the so far out there that as long as I'm always chasing that, then I'll be doing just fine. So yeah, that's
Gotcha.
my favorite.
How about you, Ultra?
Not as fancy, but the same company. Probably a P1. I don't know. There's just something about the design that's just like timeless, dude. And I don't know if you know this particular one, but Hudson, do you know Manny Koshman's all black,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
all
it's the
black carbon?
naked carbon one.
Yeah, I think that car is like peak. It's either that or another car that I know that you love very much, a Wyra Roadster.
Yeah, those are fun too.
I think they just sound like
Mega.
unreal, like just
Yeah, there's one
crazy.
in town here. I wish we could like put it up on screen so the chat could see what we're talking about. But yeah, Manny's P1 is really amazing because that car came factory white. And then
Yeah,
McLaren said, "Hey, we're gonna do some exposed carbon fiber ones," which, for you guys who don't know, is like a really difficult and expensive process, because the carbon fiber has to be presentable and the weave has to look really good. And then they put a lacquer over top of it, and so instead of it just being painted one color, it's an exposed fabric, which
yeah,
is, and to get it a certain look is really
and
insane.
it's
And
beautiful when it comes out right, like
so they only did like
beautiful.
5 of them. And his is the only exposed dry carbon, so it's not like a wet. But yeah. Anyways, I
Nice.
fucking love
Yeah,
that car.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, very cool.
That reminds me, like, only making 5 of them. That reminds me, like, how Tesla started, which was like they only made how many of their first car? What was their first
The
car called?
the
Roadster,
Roadster,
only a couple hundred. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, and
very
something like
limited.
that.
then they
Yeah.
used that money to make the next one. It was sort of like
Yep.
a
Hmm.
compounding thing. That's really
Yep.
interesting.
No, it
Right,
was
yeah.
really smart how they got
Mhm.
into it.
So I guess my favorite car, because I don't know, I probably know a fraction of which I'll know about cars. Like, but my father was very into Corvettes like his
Oh,
entire
okay.
life until he got one. And then he got rid of it for some reasons. But yeah, I just love Corvettes. I love how they look. My father was very much against them changing the backlight or the brake lights, like the
Okay.
design. They look more like was it Ferraris? It looks like another car, but
Okay.
yeah, I love old Corvettes so much. They look so nice. And
Like, do you know what year or what C?
probably like 1990s, like probably 1995. I think that was
Like a
my
C4,
father loved
probably.
like the 97. I don't know the I almost said Pacific. I don't know the
Yeah.
specifics.
Hold on, it's either a C5 or a C4. I don't know my Corvettes that well. Hold on.
The new C8, it's also
It's
coming
a
out
yeah, a
next year, right? This year.
C5 Corvette's 2001. Oh, so it's probably older than that.
Yeah,
C4
the
Corvette.
C8s are coming out this year, and they look insane. They look
Yeah, they're
really
pretty
nice.
cool. I just wish they had bigger wheels, but people will do that.
Yeah, people do that on their own.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty fun. What I really love, and what people don't understand about like those cars that are like 800 to a million, 800,000 to a million plus dollars. The importance of making like Halo cars like that is the technology they get to push the boundary, and then 5 to 10 years later, that technology trickles down into everyone else.
Gotcha.
And
Yep.
that's really important because that allows us to have like backup cameras and better brakes and faster acceleration times and more advanced technology, and like so all those things come from making these really insane, really expensive cars because they just pour their R&D into that.
And that's what I
And
think is so cool about Tesla, because they just brought all these features that even those high-end cars don't have. Self-driving, all of these like and crazy fast acceleration into like a reasonably budgeted car, like reasonably
right,
budgeted car, like
it just lacks the
30,000 versus an
sound and the
800,000.
soul, but
Yeah,
right.
of course, and that's painful to see go away. But is that a trade-off you're willing to make? A
Yeah.
700, not even $150,000 difference
Yep.
to have the same acceleration, tons of new tech that you wouldn't even get for $1 million car,
Yep. Make that
and
trade
then
any day. Yep.
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
So since we mentioned
I don't know if
Tesla,
I would, but
let's talk about their cybertruck.
Oh
So
my God.
ooh,
like,
Yeah.
big yes. I loved it. I
you loved
What
loved the
it?
the
look of it.
fuck?
Yeah, first reaction was exactly that. What
Oh
the
no.
fuck was that?
Hmm.
You know,
But
so I'll
it's
give it the
so sick.
benefit of the doubt and say that that it's the attempt of making something out there is I can respect that.
Hmm.
And I'm sure the features far exceed, the way that it looks. So it's
Right.
like probably more than functional.
Right.
And the electric technology at this point, no one's surprised that it can do 2.9 seconds 0 to 60. It's an electric car. Like,
Right.
sure, like that's not really impressive anymore.
Right.
Um, what's amazing though is the torque. People don't give that enough credit. Like the
Hmm.
the towing capacity of it
Right.
is
That's double the
fucking
F-150.
nuts.
Hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But I will just say though, just to shit on it because I go rub against Tesla a little bit is it looks ugly as fuck. So
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. I think
Hmm.
I saw this one render here. I'll try and put it on screen. I know this is gonna be scuffed, but I saw this one render of some person's idea of what the Tesla truck could look like, and that
Oh,
is a Tesla truck.
right.
Like that is
I don't
fucking
know.
awesome.
I can
And
see
I
that
Ah,
as
would
did you
well.
see
much rather.
MKBHD's video on it, Hudson? I know you're a
Yeah,
big fan.
yeah, I did.
And
Yeah.
to me, I think that he kind of nailed it on the head. They're like, you're trying to break the mold of like what is seen as conventional,
Hmm.
and
Sure, but I mean,
that's
like,
not exact. And there's a lot of benefits to it too. There's a lot changing the shape from a curve to a more edged design increases the durability and the stress impact that it can tolerate, and also the aerodynamics of it. Like there's a lot of positives to it, and I'm sure engineering wise, there's a lot of thought that went into the shape.
yeah, I guess
Hmm.
I'd be curious to see because they didn't really talk about it a whole lot. Like, I would really argue against the aerodynamics of it because, I mean, we have incredible technology that you can stick cars in these simulators or wind tunnels and
Yeah, wind
see
tunnels. Yeah,
how the air actually flows through the car. And what comes of that is a McLaren Senna. Like that kind of aero technology comes from
yeah, but a
that. But
McLaren Senna's
yeah,
far
but
from
it's
being bad.
not a box though. It's like
True.
angles don't exist on that car. It's
The
very
one thing
rounded.
that an F-150 does wrong is that right behind the like passenger seating area, you just have that whole you have a vacuum right there, like right above
That
the
makes
Right.
bed.
Drop
sense. That
off.
makes sense.
And
Yeah.
so what they've done here is they've boat-tailed the back.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
So that creates a more narrow end for the wind to meet. I don't want to get too
Well,
scientific
no,
or
no,
whatever,
no,
but
that's
Right.
I
cool because
remember
that makes sense, and I can understand that. Like if you look at the back of, if you're ever like commuting or going on like a road trip, and you see a lot of semi trucks at the back, they have these wings that stick off the end of the trailer,
Hmm.
because just that box by itself will create a lot of vortex, and that's not good for the fuel
Hmm.
economy. That's not good for the cars behind it. So that makes sense. I guess I can see that.
Hmm.
The bed of the truck having some sort of slope. But I mean,
Yep.
realistically, like I think there's 100 other ways they could have done that. I personally just I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Right.
So
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it looked really weird, and the demo did not go as planned. As you
Oh,
saw,
absolutely.
they
That was a
shattered both.
disaster.
They shattered both windows. That was
well, so the body I think is what's more important. Like glass is
Mhm.
glass.
Right,
I
right.
think people can rub that off.
Yeah,
Like it is what it is. The fact that they had the balls to do it twice and they
yeah,
physically had a metal ball to do it, but
yeah.
I digress. Um, I, I don't. That doesn't really bother
Mhm.
me. Like they're
For
trying
sure.
to push boundaries, and I think that's cool, and I respect it. Like I said earlier,
Mhm.
but if we're just purely going off looks, like I think it's laughable.
Yeah,
So.
it looked
But
very
I
funny.
also have my opinions about looks. Like I think, like we talked about already, like the McLaren Senna. I think that's a beautiful car. So, and a lot of people would disagree. So, I mean,
Mhm.
I think it's a beautiful car too. I
yeah,
love the Senna
I,
might be up there too for top car.
yeah, I don't, and it's a very jarring car. Like I don't know if Heighten you've seen that car, but if you look it up, like it's very like out there. But the Senna, in my opinion, like it has function, and that makes it beautiful. So I when I look at this car, I just see like a Warthog or a Pontiac Aztec, and that makes me laugh. So.
Yeah. So
But I'm excited to see it on the road.
yeah,
I
for sure.
always like anytime a new car comes out, I'm always excited to see it in person because usually it's a lot different and it might look like some badass thing,
Mhm.
but we'll see. Like, I think the wheels on it are sick. I love the how they talked about the adaptive suspension. I think that Tesla's really growing and learning with these kinds of things.
Mhm.
And I do, I think the Model S is the best
Mhm.
thing that they've made, and that was the only second car that they've made. Like I like that car for what it is. Like if you need a commuting car, I don't know how many better cars there are than that. If you don't care about certain things, whatever.
Mhm.
But anyways, it's my opinions on
So speaking
the
of, so
Cybertruck.
staying with the trend of electricity, thoughts
Yeah.
on the Mustang's release
Oh
of
my
the
god,
Mach E?
dude. So that pisses me off because these companies, for some reason, they take these designs that they've spent years and millions of dollars in R&D
Mhm.
and they throw them the fuck away for some futuristic bullshit. I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. Like I don't know why they do
Mhm.
this. Just stick the electric powertrain in a Mustang. That looks good. Like
Right.
why do we have to make it
Hmm.
blue? Like
Mhm.
so it's like, oh, it's electric. Like whatever, but why did they ruin it? It looks like I ate way too many donuts. And
I can agree with that. I
yeah.
like
Oh, booty
very much
cheeks. We
agree
were
with
we were just talking about it.
Right,
We're
right.
not. Yeah, we have difference of opinions. But yeah. Anyways, I think that the Mustang Mach-E missed the mark by a mile. Like
that.
I
I
just
think
think the new Mustangs look so good.
yeah, that's what I
And
was
I
gonna say.
don't know why they did this. Like I truly don't.
Mhm.
That sucks. Yeah, I hate to see that.
Also on that note, Hudson, what are your thoughts on was it the Taycan, the Porsche
Yeah,
electric car,
yeah, that's
the
cool.
Taycan Taycan? That's
Yeah,
like the
so
biggest engine, one of the biggest engine companies of all time, making their
yeah.
first electric car.
So here's what I would have to say about that. Like a lot of people are comparing it to the Model S, which they should. This is so Porsche has been making hybrids for a little while now, and they took a stab at it with the 918 Spider, and that was 5 or 6 years ago now. So
Wow, that long.
I would tell Tesla like or people who are comparing this to Tesla like this
Mhm.
is their first electric car, and it already can keep up for the most part. Tesla has some advantages. They've been doing this longer, but holy shit! Like I would say because I don't know if you know this, but Porsche partnered with Rimac, which is a hypercar manufacturer who has invested a lot into electric technology, and they currently make a car. Like Tesla is doing the Roadster. It does 1.9 seconds, but it doesn't exist yet. Rimac already makes a car that does 1.85 0 to 60. So, and Porsche has invested in Rimac,
Mhm.
so that powertrain will move to the Porsche line as things get cheaper. So I would say that Tesla has some great competition. Obviously, it's really important that people understand that one is not going to kill the other. Like, we live in a world
Mhm.
where there's VW Group that owns Audi, that owns Lamborghini, that owns VWs, that
Bugatti.
owns Bugatti. Like, all of these can exist at the same time. I think Tesla needs competition in order to be pushed.
Right.
So I would say it's a good thing, but ultimately, like, the Taycan is an incredible first step for Porsche. I also, though, I struggle with the whole electric thing because, like, let's take like my feelings out of it, where I love the sound and the emotion of engines. Um, that like the electricity is still being made by coal, and so therefore it's not the greenest thing in the world. And I don't know, like, people kind
But
of pitch it the wrong
see,
way.
a lot of people bring up that point, but the one important thing is that the efficiency rate and the carbon footprint left behind by coal-created electricity is a
Yeah, but
mere
if you
fraction.
factor in the lithium ion batteries, it's a big problem.
Sure, but the push wouldn't be there if it hadn't been proven to be a much bigger step. Because I don't
Well,
think people also realize that the amount of the carbon footprint left behind by cars, like it's bad. Like, you accelerate the degeneration of the ozone layer like incredibly fast by driving a car daily.
well, what's amazing, if we can just like I don't know, we're gonna get into global warming talk, but the ozone layer has actually reversed at this stage, so it's now getting much smaller. So just so we could put that fact out there, that's really good news. A lot of people like to talk about how we're on this downward spiral, which we're really, making a lot of strides in a lot of ways, and we need to continue to make those strides. But things are getting better, so people
Mhm.
can stop like shitting all over everything that we do. I
Okay.
But anyways, I would say that the technology needs to move on, and people do need to try new things. And Tesla's, I don't know, they're pushing everybody forward. If it wasn't for them, then we would be stuck in a vicious cycle of But whatever. Engines have become incredibly efficient as well, and
Mhm.
I think hybrid technology is really the next big push. I think before anybody really goes full electric, it's going to take hybrids to come in. Like, look at China. Like, how long do you think it's going to take to switch every car
Right.
to
Mhm.
electric? It's going to take
Yeah,
fucking ever.
impossible.
We have a long way to go. A long way to go.
Mhm.
I think introducing hybrids is going to be the biggest thing. To then start
Yeah.
weaning us off, because the oil supply and all that stuff. We've got time, but it's that's the push. I think hybrids are awesome. I drive one every day, so yeah, that's my opinion. But yeah, I think before electric becomes the normal, it has a long ways to go, and we really need to figure out, like, recyclability of the solar panels and how to
Mhm.
actually efficiently generate the energy better. What to do with the lithium ion once it's depleted. That's a big problem that we
Mhm.
haven't figured yet. So, and there's people a lot smarter than me working on these problems every day. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts on it, and I'm sure there's more that I missed. But
Yeah, I drive the BMW i3, which it's a
oh,
love hate relationship. So that's a hybrid, but not in the way that a lot of people think of a hybrid. Like, it uses the gas that you put into it
mhm,
to just create electricity, and that which goes to the electric like motor.
okay,
So it's like
that's interesting.
Right.
and that's like BMW's, like it has that in the i5, I think, in terms of electric cars. Um
Yeah,
and
I think that's actually really similar to my Sonata.
Mhm.
But it uses like regenerative braking and all this stuff to
Right.
then use the electric powertrain to fill in the gap,
Mhm.
and help give you better gas mileage.
Mhm.
I think that's really important. Like, plug-in hybrids are different, but this is like, I think that the i3 technology and that's really like the immediate future,
Mhm.
is improving that to a point where we can get 100 miles per gallon.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's what
Mhm.
we should be, shooting for. But the better that the electric powertrains get from the all electric cars, the better that the hybrids can get. And then that allows people
Yeah.
to start switching over. It's going to be a
Right, right.
process, but people are, the companies know these. Like we're just putting it. I'm just like saying what's already fact, right? So like this is what they're already doing. But that's, I think the i3, it was a really good proof of concept and for BMW to do that. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of how that car looks, but whatever.
Yeah, it looks like a battery. I got it because my friend had it. My friend Umberto. So.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's also made out of almost entirely recycled
Yes.
materials,
Yep.
that's fucking sweet. Yeah, so we need more
I
of
didn't
that.
know that. That's actually really nice.
Yeah.
That's
Like
awesome.
the way that one of them talked to me, like one of the salespeople talked to me, was like, you could leave this on a road for like a year and like almost nothing would change, like because everything everything can just is recyclable. Like everything's
It's
like
awesome.
compost and everything.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is really cool.
So switching
Yeah.
gears entirely, Doc Gore Alex asked, what would be your dream job? And this sort of ties into another question that we'll get into. So
I think Ultra should take it away because I talked for way too long.
Dream job. I guess what I'm currently on track to be is what I'm striving to be, because it is something that I'm really interested in. I don't know if it's my dream yet. I still hope that I'm young enough to wait for that dream or whatever to come alive. But for now, what I'm on track to do is med school, pre-med right now. Um, right now, if I was to be there right now, I would want to pursue cardiology. It's always just been like super fascinating to me. Like, think about all the shit that your heart does. Like, it works nonstop from the moment that you are born till the moment you are dead. That's like 80 years to 100 years nonstop. Every single second, it is operating, pumping blood through your body. I don't know. That's just like so beyond fascinating to me. So cardiology, that's what I am currently pursuing. But there's always this part of the back of my mind, like I hate to think about like money as a motivation, but
It
being in
is.
school until I'm 30,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
that's a long time. That's a lot of
Right.
money spent on college. Luckily, I am like fortunate enough to be able to like get through that. And I know a lot of med schools are actually trying to become free to encourage people to go through med school because it is long and expensive.
Yeah, because you'll be paying off those debts till you're 50 or 60.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But at the moment, it's just like there's something about like the human body and like the way it all operates in like synchrony. It's like a car. Like it's a very vague way to put it, but
Controversial, but if you get down to the science of it, it feels designed. I'll just say that.
exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And it's always like captivated my interest. I've never been like a math guy or that, but like science and shit's always captivated me. So biology, bioresearch, shit that I've always loved to do. And I'd say for now that's my dream job, but like I said, I'm still young, so
Yeah.
if something new comes up, something that captivates my interest, who knows? We'll see where that takes me.
Cool.
Because you're about to start like, I'm sure your current classes are pretty difficult, but I'm sure like in a year from now they're gonna be even more difficult. Do you feel like you could hit a roadblock? Because some people, they get to the point where they just like dislike with a passion the classes that they take. Like they know they need to take these classes for their prospective major, but it's just like they just hate it with a passion and they can't see themselves completing like the courses in mind. You
And
see that
that's what
happening?
I'm like scared of. That's
Like
what's like
OChem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking OChem right now, and honestly, I think that's more memorization based. So people just don't like it because you just have to put in the time to learn it. But conceptually, there's a lot of things like I'm gonna have to take chemistry again, like thermodynamics. I can't wrap my head around like entropy and shit like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna explain it, but like, a lot of the concepts of thermo are just like so hard to wrap your head around. Like, it's crazy to like think about the person who first thought of it. Like, how the fuck did they actually like
Dude, I don't
not just
know.
learn it, but like they were able to think of it? That's so like beyond me.
Right.
And
That's
like,
big brain stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I see the 200 IQ there, like literally 200
Yeah.
IQ shit, and I'm very scared not only of like reaching that point where I'm like discouraged by going to class and stuff, but by the point where I'm only motivated by trying to maintain like a 3.8 so I can get into med school. Because if I don't have a 3.8, then all my major was in vain. Like, what do I have with a bio major? Like, you can't get a great job like in terms of paying. Like after putting in 4 years, you don't really have much to show for it. And
You have to
so
work
it's
your
kind of
ass off.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
dude,
here
I
I
mean,
am.
like let's be honest. Like, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So
Right.
Exactly.
you're in the position that you are for a reason. I think you're gonna be fine.
Mhm.
Hopefully, man.
You'll be fine. Yeah,
So
It's a
Curdy's right.
long road though. One of the scariest thoughts that I had, I was actually talking to Kaylin. I was talking to Kaylin about like med school and the length of the process.
Mhm.
Was graduating high school was the halfway point in my education to which I would be a full-time doctor.
Yeah.
K through 12,
right.
and then I have 4 years undergrad, 4 years of med school, and then another 4 or 5 years of like residency and fellowship.
Yep.
So that means
Sounds about
K
right.
through 12 is halfway.
Right.
Graduating high school, that was the scariest moment of that whole thing. That's when I really just started to reconsider.
Yeah,
But
but like there's a lot of life after that, like a lot. So
there is,
yeah.
but I'd say, I don't know if you, I mean, I think most people would agree 20s are like your prime, right? And I'm
Sure.
going to spend
But prime of
all of
what?
my
though?
20s.
Maybe like health wise, but your brain's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
True.
Physically,
But
it's your prime.
physically,
Yeah.
physically it's your prime.
You're not playing
And
football.
I'm not playing
There's a
football.
lot of doctors practicing in their 60s. Like dude, you're fine.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Yeah.
Mhm. So
I don't know. It's just it's pretty scary to think about, but it's always what's captivated my interest. Something that's always been like something I've been passionate about. So I guess I'll pursue it until I have a reason not to.
yeah, because like a lot of people that take those like really difficult majors, they do hit like a roadblock where they take those
Yeah.
classes and they have to
I
like
think it's inevitable.
yeah, and you do
Yeah.
have to like look in the mirror and like ask yourself like, do I want to do this? Am I willing to do this? So keep us posted, I guess, on that. Cause
Yeah, for sure.
it's really. So how about you, Hudson? What would be your like dream job?
So I'm in an interesting position because I'm almost done with my undergrad. I've got a semester left. Like 2 weeks after this, I've only have a semester left.
Mhm.
So thank
Congrats.
fucking God.
Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah, so excited. It was 5 years of college for me. Um, and the degree means literally nothing to what I'm doing. So that's an interesting position
Mhm.
to be in. But it's been fun. And I've learned stuff. More so how to get around things than anything, but that's college. Anyways, it's a topic for another day. So yeah, I mean that's fine. But I started my own company, and I love the business. I love waking up every day with a new challenge and putting out in front of me, different goals and tasks,
Mhm.
and figuring out myself how to achieve those things, and um, revenue and funding and relationships,
Mhm.
all of that stuff. Like I love it. I love
He's
it,
talking
and
for anyone that is wondering. He's talking about eBeatz.
yeah,
eBeatz
my
music.
my I mean
Plug it.
I own a music licensing company that I founded about 2 years ago called eBeatz Music, and we make music for content creators.
Mhm.
But more than that, the business is really growing in a lot of different ways right now.
Mhm.
And I love being my own boss. Like I think I decided pretty early on that once I get past a certain position, I'm never gonna work for anybody. So that's just kind
Good
of
for
what
you.
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm gonna do. However, that like in whatever that entails. Like if I start other things, if this doesn't end up panning out the way I want it to, there's a million other things I could try. So it doesn't really matter to me what it is. But yeah, man, I love sailing my own ship. I think it's fun.
For
Thank
sure.
you, Kurt. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it,
So
man.
going off of what Curdy said, esports rewards. How was that, Hudson? So like.
That was really good. That was a really big activation for us. And by activation, I mean marketing.
Mhm.
Uh, because we worked with Esports Awards for about 4 weeks before,
Mhm.
and usually they have about a year to plan these kinds of partnerships.
Wow.
But they got in touch with us after we did something with Hitch and the TST guys at the
Mhm.
Esports Arena, or
Right.
Esports Stadium, excuse me,
Mhm.
Esports Stadium in Arlington.
Yes.
And those guys were amazing. They were fun to work with. That was a great event. And so the Esports Awards got in touch with us through the Esports Stadium guys. and said, "Hey, we could use some music. Would you like to be a partner for this event?" And anyways, we worked out how that would look. And it ended up being incredible. It was so fucking sweet. The guys at the Esports Stadium are amazing. The guys at the Esports Awards were amazing. They included me in all kinds of stuff. They over delivered on like every front. And I like to think that we did as well, and we helped put on a really great show in terms of the music as far as that goes. Plus, I got to present an award to Logan, which love that guy.
Right.
So that was really special, really cool to be a part of that. And I got to see a bunch of friends, which I always love to do. So it was a good time, man. It was really cool. Definitely the largest partnership that we've done so far. But stay tuned because more is coming.
Love that.
And yeah, it was really great. I would say that that those guys like really set the bar for I think what partnerships should look like. Like they were out for how we can mutually benefit each other, and only that. Like they were super cool. I
Look
mean,
what I remembered I had right here,
oh, there you go.
Mine
Yes,
needs to be
hell yeah.
washed
ready to go.
in the laundry
Hell
basket.
yeah. Yeah, that's cool that both of you guys have it.
Right.
So yeah, I'm working on more stuff like that, but eBeatz SpaceX, holy shit. That is, I
They
don't
just
know.
play your music in space.
Yeah, I don't know what we could do. You can't do that because there's no air, bro. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it's just gonna get
Um,
sucked
Oh
up.
yeah, you're right, man.
It's a
yeah,
homage.
good thing you're in biology, bro.
Yeah,
Um,
thank goodness.
so yeah, so it was really amazing. And I'm so excited to see what comes of it. I can't really say a whole lot of other things yet, but I'm the type of guy that's like, um instead of tweeting like I'm doing a lot of shit, I just do it and then you'll see it later. So
We'll see the results.
That's good.
yeah,
That's big.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a great
And we're all here
attitude.
supporting it. Like
Thanks. I know.
I listen to it just like for the music. I don't even need it for like DMCA or like any of that stuff. But just as
Yeah, I
like a music
appreciate it a
platform, it's
lot.
also really enjoyable.
Well,
Bro,
thank you. Yeah, I know.
there-
I've got some pretty incredible friends in this space who follow
Yeah.
anything I do, and that's really lucky. I don't think I could, do the things I do without them. So thank
it's
you
like
guys
I
so
had to
much.
I had to like browse through so many to come up with like a top 10 for me, and I just showed the stream to
Uh-huh.
decide like my YouTube outro music. And
Oh
then
yeah,
we picked one. So
that's cool.
yeah, they loved it. They loved the music. So
Good.
I like
Well, thank
yeah. So it's a really great product. Really good job.
Thank you. Yeah, and the amazing thing is, like, as far as the music goes, that's always going to be growing and getting better.
Mhm.
The platform, I will say, I know I just said I don't like say it like hype stuff up, but
Mhm.
the platform is about to get a huge, big time upgrade. Been working
Nice.
on that for a few months.
Nice.
Nice.
I think there's a lot of stuff that really needed some work, but we
Mhm.
built that in house. So I did announce it in
Mhm.
beta. So I think some people have understood the growing pains, if you will. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I'm really proud of what we've built. But I am really excited to say that there's getting some fat upgrades.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Love
that's
that.
That's really exciting.
it's coming sooner than later. I know I don't want to say like a date,
Mhm.
but within the next month or two, I'll have like a
Nice.
Ooh,
solid.
soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So I'm really excited about that. And that kind of puts me at a place where because I wear a lot of hats within the company. eBeatz have K-pop on it, so I'll address that in a second. But I wear a lot of hats within the company.
Mhm.
And so I can only focus on so much at once. Plus, I'm a full-time student, right?
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
my time is what it is. I only have 24 hours, just like everybody else.
So do you look
Um,
forward to like graduating so you can put a lot more time
yes,
into it? Yeah.
yeah. Just wait, dude. Wait till I
Okay.
have all my time
Mhm.
like dedicated to this thing. It'll go to the moon. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's just I wouldn't say I'm being held back because I'm
Mhm.
still pursuing other things, and I do
Mhm.
think college education is important, regardless of how much shit I would talk about it. But yeah, I'm really excited to be done with school so that I can put full time into it. It would just allow me to travel more. It's gonna allow me to pursue multiple things at the same time. It's like what I
Mhm.
was saying, like when I'm focused on the platform, that's what I'm focused on. When I'm focused on a deal like Esports Awards, that's what I'm focused on.
Right.
So I can only do like one thing at a time. But realistically, there's a lot of branches to this thing. Like just
Mhm.
that the website and that platform for content creators is a means to a much bigger picture.
Right.
Like, and I think some people can see where it's going, but there's still more to be done, and so that's really fun. That's what I love. Like, it's a crazy challenge, and just kind of like what Ultra's talking about, like, um, like if it was the easiest thing, then everybody would come up
Mhm.
with some crazy shit.
Exactly. Hmm.
It's cool. Like, it's really cool. I love it. I'm really blessed to be able to do something like that. Like, my parents put me in a great position where I can focus my time on those
Mhm.
things and not have to worry about anything else. So
Right.
So
yeah,
one
it's really
question I
sick.
have for you is, I was talking to one of my friends and he was mentioning some of the competitors, and the way that we were talking
Yeah.
earlier about companies like pushing each other forward.
Uh-huh.
What have those companies been doing to push you guys forward, and how do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question because that is exactly why I came up with eBeatz. And so I would say that is pushing it forward because those companies left a pretty big gap in the market, which was actually like having a voice that people could reach out to. Like, I would argue that Epidemic Sound is basically impossible to get a hold of. But not only that is that's a big competitor of ours. But they are focused um, on licensing music and only licensing music. They have a couple of different subscription plans based on how many views that you get on your channel. And so that covers one side of the industry, which is like content creation. But they put no effort into the streaming whatsoever. And their platform looks like it was made in the early 2000s. And yeah, I will talk my shit because I put a lot
Go
into this.
ahead, talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the other side of things, which is a far cry different, which is like a Monster Cat. And Monster Cat is amazing, and I love what they do. But they're on the record label side of the spectrum. They are going the traditional music industry route, which has to do with royalties and
Yeah.
God, of course, I can't think of what I'm saying. But anyways, but splitting up the music to different parts, like the publishing rights and the writers and like the performance and like all of that gets split up. So a song is owned by many different entities. Um, and what we did was we said all of our music is going to be owned 100% by us and only us.
Mhm.
And that way we're incredibly flexible on what we do with the music. Because when you have to pay out um, like 30 different people for one song, where you can go with it is really limited. And so the traditional music routes, like a Spotify or an iTunes, are then protected by the DMC copyright claims
Mhm.
and a record label striking music because they're not getting paid properly because they owe all this money, and they have to distribute it properly to all of these different people. So the only way we could approach this and what really separates us is that we own 100% of all the music that's
Mhm.
on our platform. And it will always be that way. So we could never flip the script and say, hey, I know you put that song in your video like 5 years ago, but all of a sudden, I'm going to start taking 50% of it. Like, that will never
Yeah.
happen. We
Mhm.
own 100% of it. So that's really amazing. And nobody else does that. There's not a single company that does that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So going back to the topic that was like dream jobs, I'm just gonna answer
Yeah.
it, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna go back to the second like co-topic. So I get
Okay, cool.
like right now I'm in information systems. That's my major, and I'm getting
Hmm.
I finished my master's next semester. So depending on
Awesome.
when
Were
you're
you in a, like a 4+1?
Good.
yes, so it was like the 5-year degree thing, but depending on when your graduation is, Hudson, maybe I can come
Mm,
by because
yeah, that'd be awesome.
um
Yeah, it's in May.
Same. I just don't know what day. I
Oh,
just need to
okay.
figure that
Yeah,
out.
like May 17th or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. And then, well, then I'm going to Europe for a couple weeks, but then
Oh,
I'll.
word.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my minor for my undergrad was cybersecurity, and my focus for my graduate is also cybersecurity. So it's
Okay.
like my end goal is to
Okay.
be in cybersecurity in some facet, like either
Yeah.
be a
Mhm.
cybersecurity analyst or like this CSO, cybersecurity officer for a company.
Yeah. Like
Um,
risk management shit, make a lot
yeah,
of
like
money.
go up there. But
Yeah.
it's such a like it's such a right now there's a vacuum. There's a vacuum in the cybersecurity field. I think the job outlook last time I checked was like 18%, which is one of the highest across like all jobs. Like it's absolutely insane. It's just like I said, there's just a vacuum, and so like I feel like like every industry at this point uses IT, and
Yep.
by that you also need cybersecurity to protect your IT. So it's
Yep.
like there's a lot of leeway on like where you could go in terms of industry once you're qualified enough and have the experience. So
Yeah.
I'm like debating, but I think like my end goal would be something like high up for a company that works with esports. So like
That
for
would be
example,
cool.
like
Ooh,
like if
the
I did
merge.
yeah, for example, like if I did like the cybersecurity side of things for like Blizzard or cybersecurity side of things for like MLG who like host these huge events every year.
Right.
Yeah.
That would just be that'd probably be like my ideal thing at this point. I would love to do that, just like working with esports and in the cybersecurity facet, because
Well,
like
I love that because as esports is growing, and I have some cool insight because I was
Mhm.
just at an esports leadership summit with a lot of really important people. I don't know how I
Oh,
got in there.
nice.
But like they had this breakfast for us the day of the esports awards, and they invited 80 people, and they had like 10 tables, and we
Wow.
all had breakfast.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there were like
Sounds so
four
awesome.
different panels, and there was a group of mayors there, like the mayor of Arlington, the mayor of Reno, a couple of other people in local governments,
Mhm.
and then a lot of large people in the esports industry. And they were talking about where it is now, where it's going, what are some things holding us back, and what are some things that we need, to happen in order to make this work. And they were talking about like millions and millions and millions of dollars that they're investing into making this work.
Mhm.
Um, dude, like the amount of jobs that are going to be opening up in the next 5 to 10 years is fucking bonkers. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a serious industry. There are people putting their careers on, into this.
Mhm.
And like just Arlington was, dedicating $46 million of their development budget to esports.
Wow.
Wow, that's a
Wow.
Like just Arlington. Like
Mhm.
just wait till I think we did talk about like there's a correction that's going to happen to some teams and stuff like that, but I think a lot of them are prepared for it. I think especially ones like 100 Thieves, which are content and apparel like as side businesses
Mhm.
because their esports will be able to survive through whatever correction
Right.
happens.
Right.
But it's going to continue growing regardless, and like having cybersecurity type stuff as it
yeah.
matures will be
Mhm.
serious. Like the production at the esports stadium is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They have like
Mhm.
12 different production rooms. You would geek out because I sure as fuck
Jeez.
did.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
like their networking ran on these rails throughout the entire
Mhm.
backstage. And you could like see all the lines and what rooms they go to, and they were all color coded and shit.
Wow.
Um, dude, yeah, it's really
That's
cool, and that's
crazy.
just one like bubble of what it's gonna become.
Mhm.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, like the sky's the limit, and getting into a new industry like really young, like as soon as you get out of college, there will be jobs.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool.
So
I
That's the
think
one thing.
yeah. Go ahead.
That's one thing I can see like taking me away
I
from
love you, Daniel.
the path that I have right now. Is like kind of being consumed by that interest because
Mm,
Mhm.
I'd say besides like my passion for science is like the passion for like esports and that whole growing community.
right.
That's really the only thing I can see myself like doing for like econ, finance, like unless I would apply those subjects to like some sort of esports kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
I couldn't see myself as like
Be
a
a
financial
hand surgeon
advisor.
for esports.
Yeah, that's what I focus on carpal tunnel and
Yeah,
tendinitis only.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, there's not really much of an overlap in my field in esports. I mean, there is and there isn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, eyes are a big thing, but definitely not nearly as much as like a cybersecurity officer or
Mm-hmm.
someone who's starting up their own company with DMCA.
Well,
Right.
that's interesting. One thing I would say is once you're out of school, and like doing your residency, I'm sure you can get involved with like your stream or stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like I don't know, like I don't know, but I think there's ways that you can still be involved while pursuing, your day job,
Mm-hmm.
and not have to give it up. Um, but yeah, if you
that's
were
a
gonna switch over,
yeah.
you would have to do that now. Yeah. So
Well, I'm
because
still very. I'm first year undergrad. Like I have time.
you have a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Yeah.
first year undergrad, so still a long, long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Even to decide that if I wanted to switch, yeah, there's a long ways ahead.
Right.
That's insane.
So
Yeah.
speaking of that, like you having like so much time being so young, like and of all of us being young. So Alec Ogg asked if they had to pick a new and upcoming field of work to be involved in, what would it be and why? So if the current route you're going, like
Uh-huh.
you just decide tomorrow, like I want to do this thing, like what is that?
Okay.
Like what's the next
Um,
thing for you?
I'm gonna have to think about it for a second.
What about you,
So
Archer?
I guess I'll answer that. So
Mhm.
I kind of just said esports, but I'm just gonna put that aside because I feel
Mhm.
like that's the obvious answer for someone in our community.
Sure.
And I feel like this next answer is gonna sound you could either take it two ways, and I just want to make sure you don't take it as like the scummy way, and
Mhm.
rather you see it
Okay.
as like the way that I see it.
Okay.
So I have a lot of family who works on like Wall Street, and I know that's a very political and connection based thing.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
because I have a lot of family that works there, I feel like I have the know-how and the connection, the person to call up to if I did pursue an economy major, econ
You could make
major,
that work.
I could make that work. And
Nice.
the way that I saw them do it, so my cousin, he went to Cornell, graduated, he was making $1.5 million his first year out. Like
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
that's crazy to me.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, he was working like, like 16, 18 hours a day. Like it was insane. But
Well, that's the
Mhm.
um,
only way that you
that's
can
the
do
only way
it.
that you do
Like,
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you know, if I was willing to put in those kind of hours, which I would have to put in anyways, if I was doing residency, you have to do 16 to 18-hour work days.
Yeah.
When you're working at the hospital, like your rounds, they go like all night long and
Isn't
halfway
it
through the
like
day.
6 days a week too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So it's literally the same hours as Wall Street
yeah.
with
So
like
as
when
soon
you're in
as you get
residency, you get a
home,
tenth
you
of the pay.
stream and you don't sleep.
Mhm.
Yep. No sleep.
That's why you
But
laughed when I said during your residency. I was just digging at you.
yeah, either way I go, it just seems like hard work. I mean, you can't avoid it. Hard work is what you have to
It's
do to
going to
get
happen.
anywhere in
Mhm.
life,
Yeah.
and I just have to make sure that
I
I'm
mean,
prepared for it, I
you
guess.
can avoid it. Yeah, it is
And go
entirely
nowhere in
possible.
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And what about
So
you?
I would um I don't think it's a cop out, but you can tell me if it's a cop out. But
Okay.
I would get into game development
Okay.
Not a cop out.
because um I think there's a lot of space in that, and the industry it is growing. Like it just surpassed the movie industry in terms of revenue.
Oh, really?
So like let's like take a step back and realize
Mhm.
how
That's
fucking
insane.
insane that
Yeah.
is.
I did not know
That
that. That's
and
incredible.
that excludes China. It's like 1.6 billion, or I
Wow.
mean, excuse me, 160 billion dollars.
Mhm.
Um so yes. So I would do something like that. I would contradict myself and work for a larger company. I don't think I would start my own because that the chances of survival is.
Yeah, it's cutthroat.
Right.
But um, I think if I could flip on a dime, like you were kind of saying, like if I could just
Mhm.
decide tomorrow, that's what I would do. I don't know how happy I would be. I think it
Right.
would be good enough to
Mhm.
where,
Hmm.
it's still something that I care about. But genuinely, like the last couple of jobs that I had, even though that they weren't really career jobs, and I did have great management, so it wasn't anything reflecting on the management. I had incredible management who wanted me to pursue my goals. I just don't like that. I really
Mhm.
don't like
Yeah.
reporting to somebody that isn't
Right.
me.
And
So
and I know like
See,
the quality of life for the average game developer is like pretty low. Like the people who are creating it, depending on the company you go to, obviously. But I think like there's just been so
I'd
many
be exec
cases.
level. I wouldn't be
Oh,
right.
okay. So
Yeah.
you'd be the one to make sure like quality of life is high for your company.
Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
if you know anything about me, I'm no
Right,
dick.
right,
Like
right.
I'm not
For
trying to
sure.
kill anybody. Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
I feel like some of them are probably sweatshops almost. Like I
The way
you
that
know,
they're described, yeah, that's how like the way that they're described. Oh my
which is
god.
it's just insanely sad, but
Mhm.
because it's such an amazing industry, but I think the expectations are far too much.
Mhm.
And for a company to be able to hire the amount of people that would alleviate or reduce the amount of work that's on each individual's plate, um, would cut into their margins, and I think they're too sharky for that. So
Right.
Yeah. And
So,
going
so
back into that happiness
uh,
thing, I think that's exactly why I wouldn't switch because I don't think I'd be happy. I don't have any passion for like just like looking at numbers all day. I feel
mhm.
there's no interaction. Being a doctor, there's a lot of patient interaction. That's kind of what I look forward to.
Right.
right.
So, as much as I would enjoy thinking about making $1 million a year out of college, it's like I know that I would be like I would have a terrible time doing it.
Yeah, like
There's no enjoyment out of it.
as a doctor you're literally changing lives every day. Like you
Exactly.
have
And
a
that's what
hand
I
in people's
find
lives.
so
Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
And
Well,
working on
like I'll
Wall
give you
Street.
a good
Right.
example. Like I've had a lot of different doctors, a lot, and I have this one rheumatologist who also he splits his time, so he works like 1 month in the ICU. And then the next month is well, actually, excuse me, he's not a rheumatologist; he's a pulmonologist who specializes in rheumatology, like vasculitis, which is
Mhm.
the type of disease that I have is vascular.
Mhm.
And so, anyways, he has a couple of patients, I believe, two that are similar to me, and he goes to a conference in Japan every year to stay on to stay up to date with what's best for treating me and that one other patient.
Mhm.
And he was from the Mayo Clinic. Like that guy goes above and beyond
Wow.
for his
Yeah.
patients. And he is like one of the nicest, most genuine. I really care about you. I want you to be healthy doctors, not just like shoving medicine down your throat. But Mayo has a
Yeah.
reputation for
Yeah, Mayo
that kind of
Clinic's up there. Like anyone who knows anything about medicine, Mayo Clinic's like one of the
and
standards.
yeah, and they've changed my health like 180 because I was super downhill. When I was admitted to Mayo and got into that system, I was dying basically. So it was 2017.
Mhm.
I had a pneumonia and no immune system to fight it off. So and that was like an 11-day motherfucker. So yeah, in the ICU, and that's how I met him. Um, and and anyways, yeah, so like having doctors that genuinely that makes every difference. And if
Mhm.
you really love that,
That is
like you
exactly
you
what I care
you will
about.
you will make a change in people's lives. That's really amazing. Yeah, and
Mhm.
there's not many professions, and that's the reason you get paid what you will get paid. Like because
Mhm.
nobody there are other intricate jobs, and you could argue for some people like teachers, for example, who should
Right.
because they have such an impact on people's lives. But doctors are for sure one of the few that truly make a difference.
Right.
Good or bad. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
So I guess my if I was like to make a decision tomorrow, it's really
Yeah.
split because like in high school, I tried welding, but it was a mix up between classes. Like I was supposed to be put in IT and like some computer class, and they're like, yeah, we put you in welding. I'm like, yo, this is actually pretty cool. I was there for like a few weeks, and like, yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. And they were saying like, yeah, if you got like really good at welding, like it's a pretty like once you get good, it's like you can get hired out of high school. Like it's all skill. It's
Yeah.
like what you're
Trades
cap.
awesome.
Yeah, it's a trade. So it's like you get entirely paid by like what your capability. So like that really interests me.
That's cool.
Something else is like a lot of my family was in the military and law enforcement, like a good amount. I
Okay.
think I can think of.
Okay.
So I'd probably
Mhm.
go into like, or I would probably would have tried my hand at some sort of law enforcement, either because my father's in ICE, and
Okay.
my uncle is like a university, like
Don't tell them about
police.
Frosty.
So like I would have maybe tried my hand in something along those lines, but Yeah, like welding and law enforcement were probably like the two big things for me, and I don't know
That's
how I
cool.
would have
Those
been.
are completely
Yeah,
different things. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
that's a
Yeah, you know
complete
what's
switch from what you do.
what's
Mhm.
fun is welding. Um, like I could totally see myself doing a trade. My biological dad worked with his hands a lot. And growing up, so I saw like he made teeth, like by hand. Um, and so I could see myself working with my hands. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's really cool, Stefan. Yeah, like they told me about people who like a couple years in, like if you're a top welder, like you're gonna make so much money. And then if you want to, I
Yeah.
guess, be more risky and be an underwater welder, it's like
Oh,
instant six figures, like easily instant six figures. It's just crazy.
that's cool. Underwater welding.
Yeah,
Fuck,
because
that's
it's a lot more dangerous. Because if you can create a vacuum. Because like if you were working a silo that has water under it, and all of a sudden like you open a hole in that air silo like underground, all of a sudden water's gonna be pouring into that with all that pressure, and then you're just dead. Like part of you just gets stuck there. You just like there's a lot of cases of people who just like 1 second they're welding, next second they're like gone. So it's really scary underwater welding, but at the same time it's
well.
like
I mean, if you're good at it,
yeah,
you
if you're
know.
good at it and you like know what
Yeah.
you're doing, a lot of experience, you're gonna make a lot of money. So
Wait, Mookie, that tweet is fucking hilarious. I probably didn't read it when I was responding to it because that's funny.
Let me see. I didn't see it. What did I tweet?
Fuck me,
Oh
route
my
to my
god.
inside.
Oh my god.
and
I
Hudson
said that.
and Hudson
I
just
know.
replied with hearts.
Yeah, I definitely didn't read that. I was
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Damn, I
that's
really said all that, huh?
Here, I'm gonna share the stream real quick so the YouTube video could see it. All right. This was the video where Hudson showed us that he could hear again in his ear. So
Such a heartwarming video. To this day, whenever I see it on my
right.
timeline, I take a sec. I just watch the whole thing. It's such a feel. It's like there's no other way to put it. It's like such an amazing video. I love it so much.
Like when I think of heartwarming, like this video pops into my head. Like
Yeah.
like this and like puppies or something like that. Like it pops into my
Dude,
head.
that was a really special moment. So, like,
Mhm.
kind of to give some backstory to that for this chat. I lost my hearing in 2011 because of a surgery that went wrong. Um, they didn't know that I was sick, and they thought they were treating something or doing a surgery on something like in isolation when really there was a more underlying problem they could have just solved with medicine.
Mhm.
So, anyways, they did the surgery and took out my hearing bones and middle ear and stuff. And it didn't heal because the underlying problem didn't get fixed. And I went deaf in my left ear. And so they did two attempts at reconstructing it, and both of them failed. And I was really heartbroken because I thought that I was going to be able to hear again. And, you can imagine what kind of like emotional
Mhm.
toll that took on me, especially because that doctor told me that he would be able to fix it. Um, anyways, so that didn't happen. But anyways, I had a doctor after the second failed reconstruction that said, "Hey, man, like I know that this didn't work, but we have this other option that we can talk to you about and see like maybe it will work." And so I went to the doctor's office one day, and they put on this like right behind my head, like this little bone conductive hearing device. And I was able to hear through it, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" And he's like, "Okay, so you'd be a good candidate for this." So, anyways, I had the surgery, and that video they put
Yeah.
on the device, and I was able to
Mhm.
hear again. So
Just
it's
kind
really
of
cool.
off that real quick and just kind of like taking a step back. That's
Mhm.
first of all so amazing, but thing that's always interested me is also biology and the combination between engineering, biomedical
Yeah.
engineering, and
Mhm.
like that whole field. Put money aside, it's just like it's so crazy that they're able to do things like that,
It's
and I could
insane.
totally see myself switching from pre-med into like biomedical engineer.
Mhm.
Well, like
That's
it's a little like
crazy.
at the basic like level, like the basic level. It's a microphone and then a speaker, but the speaker just vibrates my skull, and that's how I'm able to hear.
Mhm.
But what the fuck? Because that's the coolest thing
Yeah.
I've ever
Right.
heard in my entire
Who
life.
thought of that, man?
Yeah,
I always go
Yeah.
back to that question. Who the fuck thought of that? And
And it's
how? How did they
it
think of that?
works. It works
Yeah.
amazingly well. Yeah, it's so cool. And because the technology is so good, like it has Bluetooth and I can answer calls through my head, and so that's it's crazy.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. I'm like, man, I really wish I had like Hudson's device where I can just like listen to music like right now in my head
Yeah, and nobody can hear it.
and no one can
It's
hear
just me. And it sounds like I'm at a concert. It's like, woo, holy shit.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think about that a lot, especially when I'm in class.
It's crazy, yeah. And the other thing is because they only just like implanted a piece of metal like titanium in my head. That as the technology gets better, I'll just get to upgrade the piece that snips onto it.
Hmm.
So my insurance luckily has like a included like every 3 or 5 years, I forget which. They'll just upgrade me to the next version.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Wow.
because they're insanely expensive, insanely. So does it hurt if you hear some spammy shit? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like there's levels to it. And so I usually have it turned down pretty far actually because of how powerful the device is.
Hmm.
Yeah, Iron Man. It's I mean, I joke, but it really feels like some next level shit. But yeah, so like there are certain things like jarringly loud, and because you can't like escape it, like plug your ears, it's kind of insane. Sometimes sensory overload, but for the most part, it's very cool. And they even gave me this microphone, so like I can put it at the front of my class, and sometimes I do that where then I can only hear what the teacher's saying.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
do you ever use the Bluetooth capability? Yeah, almost every day at school. Yeah,
So you don't
it's
need
really
AirPods. It's like it's just
well,
it
but
works anyway.
yeah, more so than that, it's like, I'll be using this device, to listen to, like, my professor,
Okay.
and then I can focus on, like, whatever's happening around me with my actual ear. It's kind of insane, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
That's crazy.
That's really
Yeah,
crazy.
and
Just
and
there's
it's,
something
like,
I think about.
super sonic, like, I can hear shit, like, from across the house. It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. So completely switching topics, like
Alright, 180.
switching
Alright.
gears.
Yeah, 'cause we only have a little bit of time left.
Right. So the question was, what is it like to see the Mob Boys grow up? Like we were all around for them. Ultra's been with them a lot since they
Good
first
question.
formed. So
Yes,
it's like,
sir.
how has it been like seeing like not only the community grow up, specifically like the mob guys with their adventure?
That's a
Okay.
good
So
yeah, go for it.
so one thing I was just telling you guys right before the stream is in exactly 7 days it will be the 1 year anniversary of the first time me, Mako, Classy, and Frosty all met up. That was the first time that any of the mob boys had met one another. That was the first time I met anyone from the whole Twitter scene. First
1
time
year.
Frosty or hmm?
1
Yeah, it's
year.
yeah,
1
1 year.
year.
1 year since they met each other in person. Obviously, Discord, Twitter, whole
Hmm.
different story, but
Right.
in person, first time, 1 year in a week. And I just think back to that and it's like so crazy to think about how much that evolved. Like at first it was so awkward. Like I don't know, it was like some dude that we've talked on Discord, we
Hmm.
played games, but seeing them in person it was very weird, especially because my first time seeing anyone like that. But it was like such a natural friendship. Like we all went out, movies, dinner, and then kind of how it went from there. We started hanging out in New York more often. Frosty would fly in from um, Chicago to come
Hmm.
visit us too, and we did so much together. All the memories we made, and like throughout December, January, February, they did their own stuff. Obviously, that whole
Right, right.
December mobcast and stuff, but
Which
kind of seeing,
exploded. That shit was
yeah,
Hmm.
crazy.
that was crazy moment, so awesome to see. But literally watching them and their friendships grow in front of my eyes, being there when they would like go out, I would be there with them, meeting, just hanging out. Like I don't know, it was just so crazy to see all of that form. And then it's still wild to me to see like the magnitude of like what they're doing right now. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know this sounds kind of corny, but like 150,000 followers. Like, do you like it?
Right.
I have to take a second, like
Hmm.
step back and understand. 150,000 people. That's a lot. And
Hmm.
even if you say like relatively speaking, their YouTubes are still just growing, but like 10,000 views, 20,000 views,
For
that's a
sure.
lot.
Yep.
And I mean, I think we take that for granted when we watch, like a Courage stream and he has like 10,000 viewers, who's also still one of their, close connections.
Mhm.
But 10,000 people watching, it just not only shows how much the gaming scene has to offer, but how much these guys have potential to grow into that scene.
Yeah, yeah.
For
And
sure.
Well, and
not only
outside of
watching
it.
them, yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And so,
I think it's like important that from them that they outgrow the space because I think that they can. But anyways, yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
no, that's exactly what I mean because like there's so much potential for them and seeing how far they've come and then realizing that that's only 5 or 10% of what they're really capable
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
is just so awesome to see. Um, I just have so many memories. Like I don't even know where to start. Like the G Fuel streams
Mhm.
where we would hang out in Long Island.
That's cool.
Back when they were partnered with G Fuel, like G Fuel literally treated us like family. Like I could not, like I can't even like put into words how awesome G Fuel is, and Cliff and Kirst and Debbie, like just literally treated us like family. I'm not affiliated with the brand in any way, but um, just absolutely amazing people, amazing company. They not only treated the Mob Boys, but they also treated the Mob Boys company with like such respect and as family. Like me, Tyler, um, Beast Caucasian, we were all there too, and just seeing like how much a big company like that would treat them with such respect and stuff. It was so awesome to see.
It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's amazing and I love them. Like I've known Avalanche for the longest. But getting to know um and then Mako and then Frosty and Classifier the newest ones,
Mhm.
but I've known all of them for at least a couple of years now. And what's crazy is I remember them starting to stream a little bit, and I was talking to them, and I was like I hope you guys are going to make something like a group out of this,
Mhm.
because I think that's like where the money is. And they told me they had already been thinking about that, and that was like the
Yeah,
mob. And I was like, fuck yeah, like that's exciting because people can really get behind that. Just like a group, a collective, like a thing, like an organization.
Right.
Like the mob is just one of the like the coolest, funniest group of dudes that everyone just loves.
yeah,
Well, I guess minus a few jackasses, but
Yeah.
um
Mhm.
if you're cool, you like them because they're just like the best. And what's really amazing is getting to not only see them like grow into what they have now, but knowing what they're going to
Mhm.
become. Like
yeah,
it's not even like a if, like they're on track
Right.
and
It's more of a
they've got
win. Yeah. It's
yeah,
like
they've
it's
got
a
the
guarantee.
resources. Nadeshot has seen it, like he's known.
Mhm.
It was all about like allowing them to take the steps, maybe grow up a little bit to be old
Mhm.
enough, or get out of the phase that they were in, like a little bit too out there. But um but now they've gotten to a place that's like prime, like they're
yeah,
funny as ever.
Mhm.
They're so fun to watch together. And then I just love hanging out with them. Like they haven't changed like
not
at
one bit.
all. And I knew that was gonna happen because they're just those types of people. But I think they all have each other to like keep them accountable. A little bit of friendly competition to
Right.
help each other
Right.
grow, kind of like the
Yep.
OG, like the Optic Gaming, the house that started it all at 6050
For
roughly.
sure. For sure.
So that I don't know. Like I just have nothing but good things to say about him. I love all of them. I recently got to see him again, which was
Mhm.
so fun. Maddie coordinated this thing for my to celebrate my birthday early, and we hung out for the day, and then I went and saw them for the Logan Paul KSI fight, and I just genuinely love all those
Yeah.
guys. So yeah,
Yeah. I remember when
yeah,
Classify when like already knew Avalanche, already knew Mako. Frosty came from like Ace Thug's like
yeah,
sort of how Ultra came from Ace Thug's like
Yeah, me and Frosty,
concoction.
same era.
So it's
yeah,
like, and then I just see Classy, and in my head I'm just like, well, I mean, if Avalanche, Mako, and Frosty vouch for this person, it's like, okay, he's my friend too.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah,
there's no other way to look at it. Like if they vouch
Yeah.
for Classify, it's like you
exactly.
gotta love them too. So
But it
yeah.
wasn't just that. Like I've out of all of them, like I've known obviously the three who were
Mhm.
the OGs the longest, but I feel like as time went on, I'd become closest to Classy.
Yeah.
We like there was a time like before the mob was a thing, Classy just like randomly hit me up, Fortnite. I was like, sure, the Fortnite, just some other dude on Twitter will play. But just like seeing where that all, evolved, like
Mhm.
him literally becoming like one of my best friends in like the past year or so, like we still FaceTime like almost on a daily basis.
That's
Like
good.
it's so cool to
Nice.
see. I love that dude to death. Um, all the shit that we've been through and like, seeing how him and Sydney too, how that whole
Mhm.
relationship has gone from, you know, Discord calls to meeting in New York finally, his nervousness throughout the whole thing, him texting me the day of, it was like, it's so awesome to see the mob aside, like Classy as a person, like grow and become the person that he is now. It's so crazy
So
to me.
cool. So cool.
Mhm.
Have we ever kissed? Oh, we're about to. That's how we end the stream, right?
Yeah, me and
uh,
Classy have kissed. Me and Hudson have kissed.
Yeah.
Oh, we gonna tell him? No,
So, but
you
yeah,
call that
no,
gay,
dude,
but like
like
I love
I
Classy to death. That's a fucking homie, dude. I love him.
I
The boy.
I agree. Anyways, like it's easy to gas up the mob because they're doing it to themselves. Like
Yeah, for real.
they're doing well. They know it, and I'm excited. Like I think after visiting them in their house, I got to do that more. Like it was
Mhm.
just so fun, man. That they are just so fun to hang out with. And I know they all just kind of went out for the holidays for a little bit,
Mhm.
but come this next year, I think they're gonna be doing some pretty insane shit.
For sure. And
Yep.
like I think the best thing to see from them is like now that they have all these resources, you can see how hungry they are. And like for example, Classify, he's been grinding YouTube.
He
Like
has,
he's
man.
been grinding YouTube. So it's like that competition, like you
He's
said,
gotten really good in the short amount of time.
for sure, for sure. And he even tweeted something I think earlier saying like it's so motivating to see how much better you can get when you're creating something. Like how much room you have to grow. He's like, I love that drive. So that's like really
Yeah,
encouraging to see from them. So
yeah, inspiring
it's
for
great.
sure. I
Mhm.
love them. I love them. They're gonna do big things. I
Yep.
mean, to be getting 5 to 10,000 views on every video after only been doing YouTube for like a month or two,
Mhm.
It's
is
crazy.
fucking ridiculous. It took me
Just shows the
years to
potential, man.
get to that point.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's amazing.
So
It's
that
amazing.
Also, another thing is
go ahead.
that I also don't think that they even realize like what they've set themselves up for. Like
I
I
think
know
they
the
know.
class.
I
I mean, to
think
an extent, but I think they don't understand like the magnitude. Like, I'm just putting Classy back as an example. How
okay.
he's scared to like talk to his parents about the whole thing.
Right.
I like, I met them and I brought it up like on a very very subtle way when I was talking with his dad, and he was like, "Well, if it makes money, it's good." And like, yeah, I've heard about it. I've seen like the ads for it on TV and stuff. So I think that like they don't understand. Like they understand obviously to a very great extent like
Mhm.
what they're doing, but I don't know if they understand the larger implications of it in terms of
Mhm.
like family. Because I know that that's always been a big issue for like Frosty and Classy. Like the amount of the impact that it has on like a global scale rather than just like within
Mhm.
this little Twitter circle. Like it's
Mhm.
big, like it's really big.
Well, you know what's a really good example is there's a lot of people who make it obvious like how successful they are and try and put all that out there to maybe seem bigger than they are or something like that. But an amazing example who I've also known since like for a long time since he got big was Courage. I love Jack, and if anybody is like an example to follow in the way that they've grown, it's him.
Mhm.
Not like nobody grinds harder. Like nobody like tries as many different things or as crazy as he is, and like and it's amazing that he and the Mob Boys are on the same team. But
Right.
like to see how Jack still, like he still talks about his family the same way. He still makes time for all his friends and family. Like um, he's still doing all this incredible stuff while like helping support and do all this stuff with his family. That's really amazing. And I think well, and obviously, like, we know Nate Shot's been doing that for a long time. Like, he's
Right.
set a good example of that. But I think the Mob guys are in really good company, not just because of the success that they have, but all those people in that house are associated with that brand. Not that they need the gas, but they are good people to be around for like every example. So I'm really happy that that's where they landed. Even if it meant they had to lose the G Fuel and other things. I think they're in a really good place, like, regardless.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, having them in the house together, and all the
Yeah.
content that they've made with the 100 Thieves guys so far, like, it's just the beginning. So I love them, and I love that they're at where they're at. I think it's like the best like pressure cooker to make them be what they can be, and that's obviously why 100 Thieves picked them up, because
Right.
it's the perfect storm.
Mhm.
For sure. For
Yep.
sure. So we're about to get to an hour and a half. So I know you guys have something to do after this. So you guys are busy people doing busy
Dude.
things. So
Yes,
closing
sir.
closing thoughts. Like
Yeah.
closing remarks, closing thoughts.
What do you got, Ultra?
I don't know. I guess just like I really enjoy this podcast because it just makes me like kind of take a step back and understand how far like everyone's come, not just the Mob Boys, but just like the potential. Like I learned a lot from Hudson. You were just saying like it's bigger than the movie industry, shit like that. Just like
Right.
so crazy to think about the potential that all this has.
That's why
I
I
know
love
that you've been
that's
streaming
why
a
I
lot
love
heightened.
hosting this. Like
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I
you learn a
always
lot,
learn
man.
something. Yeah.
Wonder
Cool.
what Ultra has to do. Oh yeah, Flyer. I'm sure you'd love to know. I got to run oil rig. I'm sure you saw.
Oh my
Um,
god.
no. It's an inside joke. But I don't know. It's just like so cool to see everything. I know Hayden, you've been streaming a lot, so I think that's the other cool takeaway is that like they're bringing a lot of people with them. You know, Chase has been doing really good. Sydney had an insane stream last night.
Oh
Yeah.
my
She, like,
god.
Sydney. Oh my god.
2,000 subs or something yesterday. Like
Crazy.
Dude, that's so
insane.
true. It's like they have not hoarded their success in
No,
any way.
they've brought people along with them, and
Yep.
they're bringing more people too. Like this podcast probably wouldn't be where it is today without a lot of the influence. Like how many people in chat
For
are
sure.
here because of the mob, or just to put it like that. Like they've done a lot, not just for themselves but for other people.
Amazing. Yeah. No,
1000%.
I totally agree. So thank you, Hayden, for having me on. It was a
1000%.
pleasure. It was
Thank you for
fun.
having me on as well.
If you ever need another guest, let me know and I'm happy to come back.
For sure.
Same goes for me.
Yeah,
Thank
shit.
so
Real shit.
shout out Mob, shout out John Robinson.
Shout out Oak Boys.
Shout out Heighton, and Ultra's okay too. So yeah.
Okay. I love you, Hudson.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I thought the Bozo Club was streaming,
Oh
but
shit.
they might have ended it because I had sworn I was following them, so I was gonna host them because they were doing like some event, but I guess it ended, or maybe I'm just.
That's a funny name, the Bozo Club.
Yeah, what do y'all think of the Bozo Club?
I
Love
don't
'em.
know who it is.
Oh,
I love the boys. I think they're super awesome.
Who's
Ooh,
the
Hudson,
Bozo?
we'll have to. It's 4 guys on Twitter, very similar to the mob, just
Oh.
I guess the UK version of it, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Really cool guys. Love them on Twitter.
What's
Kind
their
of
names?
Waddles,
Oh, I
Fabio,
know Waddles.
Weird
and Fabio.
V, and
Harry.
who am I forgetting? Harry. How did I
Oh,
forget
okay,
Harry? Yeah,
okay. I
Harry.
know all of them.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, cool guys. Young, very young, so I'm sure they have a long ways to go. So lots of
That's
maturing to
bullshit.
do. There's a lot of that.
That's okay because
They're
I
young.
mean,
They're
like,
very young.
if the Mob Boys are any indication of what's possible, I'm sure they'll be just fine. Yeah.
Real
Yeah,
shit.
for sure.
So
Cool. All
usually
right.
I ask like a would you rather question, but my questions stink because everyone always answers the same thing. So I'll have to.
Okay.
I'll have to.
Wait. Try
yeah.
something. Try.
Okay.
Try something.
Fuck. Would you? I'm gonna. I mean,
Oh, brother, here we
yeah,
go.
I'm gonna bring the original one back. So it's like, would you
Okay, let's
rather?
see.
It's 3 options to die from. 3 options
Okay.
to die from. First is death by fire, death by bamboo, death by ants.
Bamboo being growing through you.
Yes.
Holy fuck. Oh my
Not being
God.
beaten by bamboo.
No. It
Wait,
grows
can-
through your person. Like you're laying
Yeah.
down, the bamboo just.
It
Why
takes,
would
like-
anyone want that?
It takes
so
like
fire,
what,
right?
like 5 days or something to die like that.
Yeah, I'm
no,
going with
bamboo
fire.
grows really fast.
Yeah.
Going with
But not
fire.
like 5
Oh my
seconds of burning
God.
to death fast.
No,
Wait.
dude, burning to death would take a few minutes. That's like some of the most painful shit ever.
It
I don't
is
think ants would be any
scientifically
faster.
the most painful thing you can
Yeah.
experience.
So why would I want to do that? Why would I want
The
to
fire,
do
the
that?
fire.
And how are the ants killing me? What are the ants
So like the
exploding?
Aztec era, they used to tie them to stakes and just put them in 5-foot mounds, ant
What
mounds.
the fuck?
So like that's how they would kill people back then, or
All
that's
right, well,
one
I'm
way.
totally taking the bamboo. I'll just
Word?
like, yeah.
Over
I'll just-
fire?
Real shit.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
have
taking
to
the
pick fire
I
because
think
that
that's
seems
that's
the
like the
quickest way to
least
die.
violent. It's like I'm gonna bleed out probably, right?
Like,
So
the thing is you have a chance to die from shock. Like that's the thing, because like if it grows through the right part of you, it's like that could really mess you up. So, and it could grow through your heart. Like, if you get lucky, it would just go straight through your heart.
well,
and
I
you-
would assume they would plant like 5 or 6 of them, and they would just all.
Oh,
grow
it's
up.
yeah. It's just like they go
Yeah.
crazy. So
That's
real
fine.
shit.
Taking
That's
fire.
a fucked up question.
Does everyone say fire? Like, what's the obvious
yeah,
answer
like
here?
No, bamboo.
Until now with Hudson, everyone has answered fire.
Dude, I would
Everybody.
not. Okay, so let me flex on everybody for a second. I've experienced some of the most painful things you can literally experience, and I've been on some of the craziest like prescription IV drugs to deal with those pains. I would not do fire. I would not do fire. Fuck that shit. Like I've had a meningitis. I know what pain is. So I will not do fire. I would definitely do the bamboo. Yeah, I'm good on the fire. Fuck that
Real
shit.
shit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you then with bamboo. Like
Okay.
I'm gonna go with you. So yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm
ants,
so
no way.
glad. I'm so like that makes me actually happy that you choose bamboo because everyone's been like, this question sucks. Your question sucks. It's like, of course everyone's
No,
gonna
I don't
pick
think the
fire.
question sucks, but I don't know. It just seems like fire is the obvious answer to me.
No.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, hold on. I have a second. So hold on. How painful is it to die?
Well, Terry,
by
so I have
fire?
different reasonings for why I choose fire sometimes. Like fire is the most painful thing. So like
Pain is the greatest at the beginning before the flame burns the nerves. After that, the burned skin does not hurt. Most of the victims die from suffocation because the blaze damages the respiratory tract. Holy fucking awful. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Yeah, that's the worst thing I've
Yeah.
ever heard in my life. I'm good.
You just
I'm
suffocate.
so not doing that. Yeah.
Travis Scott said it's lit, so I'm going death by fire. Amen.
You'll be like the Elmo. With the
Yeah.
fan.
Yep.
All right, I'm signing out. Thank you for
Alright,
having me.
We're
I
gonna
had a great
host.
time.
We're gonna host somebody. Just say sup in chat. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Thank
Later.
you.